Sandeep, I would like to ask you, you lead the strategic initiatives and delivery for BFSI globally. From where you sit, what's the single biggest pressure financial institutions are facing right now? Legacy systems, data challenges, or AI surge?
I think there's no single issue. There are multiple challenges. If I were to put it in four key buckets, I call it the four E's of transformation. The first one is what we call as enterprise adaptability. Essentially, organizations trying to adapt themselves to the changes that's happening. Earlier, it was digital transformation. Now, with AI-led transformation, aspects about how do you get in more efficiency, how do you look at more engineering-led effectiveness, how do you look at cloud transformation, how do you kind of look at workplace and workforce of the future. These are some of the aspects of enterprise adaptability. The second is all about how do you kind of build ecosystems and platforms. That's a big theme with organizations today. And the third is about organizations are sitting with tons of data. How do you look at embedded data narratives and specifically on aspects around how do you kind of tap into data to get data monetization and different use cases around hyper personalization, etc. And the fourth is what I call as elevated end user experiences, which is about offering the greatest experiences to customers, which are hyper personalized, contextualized from that perspective. Now, if you look at these four E's, what ties to them together is the fifth E, which is what is emerging tech acceleration. Earlier, it was different technologies. Today, it's all about AI. Tomorrow, it could be about quantum computing. But given the AI surge, it's all about AI and how AI would impact each of these four different transformations.
Cloud economics, data modernization, AI at scale. These are on every board agenda today. But in your experience, what really determines whether a transformation program succeeds, especially when banks are trying to move fast without losing compliance and stability?
I think we recently published an article called Seven Sins of AI Transformation, talking about how organizations have tried to adopt AI and failed in different instances. Seven Sins adopting to greed or sloth, or how organizations are trying to replicate what somebody else is doing or trying to do something very quick because they have to do it. And essentially, AI for the sake of AI and not really planning. So, if you traditionally look at what where organizations have succeeded, I would say at three different levels. One is from a leadership standpoint, if the leadership is fully aligned to the overall AI transformation journey, are they really invested? The second is about from a people process perspective. Have you got the right kind of people in the organization? Can you look at a reimagined workforce which exists between people, agents now with the whole agentic AI solutions in place? And the third is about how do you reimagine your technology, your data, and infrastructure? I think as long as these three are kind of looked at, then and the organization is not working in silos, they look at AI as a whole for the enterprise, then it makes sense. And in terms of success metrics, it's the traditional metrics. It's success from a technology perspective, success in terms of people, success from an end user perspective, and also success in terms of business standpoint. As long as those metrics are met, it's a success even from an AI standpoint. But essentially, how do organizations look at, like I said, different elements of leadership, people, process, tech to make things happen?
AI's theme everyone's watching today. Beyond the hype, where do you see the real opportunities for BFSI leaders to apply AI? And what do you think many are still underestimating?
I think going back to the answer to to the first question that you had, the four key areas where organizations are looking at using AI. One is from an enterprise perspective. So the first is around their workplace and workforce, especially on the workforce strategy. How do they make people AI literate, and how do they ensure that within their entire organization is AI ready? And that's one big theme. The second is especially banks are sitting with a lot of legacy systems. How do they look at AI to modernize these applications? That's a big theme that's emerging. The second aspect in terms of ecosystems and platforms, one of the key things that organizations are looking at, especially in terms of building platforms, is how do they use AI to accelerate the whole platform development. And third area is when you look at data, especially data is what's needed for enterprise transformation, right from setting up architectures around like data mesh. How do you look at having data ready for AI transformations, and finally get into agentic solutions is a third aspect of what organizations are doing. And finally, when you look at elevated customer experiences, everyone is building chatbots, but that's not the real answer. How do you kind of look at AI to give hyper personalized experiences to clients rather than just giving them simple chatbots as what organizations are trying to work on? So that's essentially where the areas of focus. When you talk to organizations, a lot of them are still grappling with trying to look at AI for one or two use cases, and there are others who feel this is going to fade away. It's not going to fade away. AI is real, and customers are really using them for different across the enterprise. So I think these are certain areas where they're underestimating the power of AI. And what we're also realizing is across the board, like I said, three or four key initiatives which customers are running. AI literacy across the board from an enterprise standpoint. How do you specifically look at AI for reverse engineering, more application modernization? How do you look at platform forward engineering? These are some key aspects of AI that we are seeing across different organizations.